The washer bag that fits in the front pod here has two hooks, but as you can see they're missing. So I found these picture hooks and I'm just going to cut them and drill a hole and then use a rivet to hold them in place. They'll do the job just fine. Filling up soap and water in the bag and then putting the grommets in place. And then a few cable ties to hold the clear hose in place and then test the squirters. Another small adjustment and I'm done. Attaching the heater fan to the power and then checking the instrument cluster. I've got fuel, battery and oil pressure light. Checking the dimmer for the instrument cluster, that's working, and then to test the interior light, also working, and then the fan itself low and high. And then the door jamb switches and the horn. I've had the fuel pump disconnected the whole time, so I'm putting the fuses back in place, overriding, and then I've got fuel pressure here. I've set up this camera to record the amperage draw. I'm turning absolutely everything on. As you can see, it's getting about 20 to 23 amps, and that's because the wipers are moving as well. I've installed this SCA socket, and that allows me to plug in a cigarette lighter adapter, or even better, this little module here. It not only shows you the voltage from the battery, but it also has USB and USB-C. I'll be installing original 334 Chromodora mirrors, but I have to make them from different parts. This particular one comes from a different Fiat and has a different base. This one is a different Chromodora mirror, but it has the same base, so I'm going to take this as its own apart. I've just unscrewed the bottom and removed that part, and that just slips straight off. Using a plastic prying tool here to separate the mirror from the base and then unscrew the piece in there. When I take that apart, the little lug here comes out and then I can slip that straight off. I now have all the parts to make a genuine 334 mirror. I'm just going to get those black bits chromed and it should match the rest. To get those parts chromed will take a few weeks, so I'm going to temporarily use this plastic one. This plastic mirror was also used on a Series 1. It has no seam there, no screws, and everything is just molded in place. I lubricated the ball joints and just popped them out of place. Just cleaned it all up and then painted it once again in black. I used this plastic detailing paint on here. You just apply like this, but when it dried it went all streaky, so I'll have to come back to this later. These rubber grommets just happen to be the right shape and thickness for the back of the trim plates. They just fit over like this, and then the clip fits on top of that. And now to hold the trim piece against the car and then put the clips on the back. These trim pieces are often broken because this screw piece that fits in here is usually missed when taking it off, as well as the one over there. It can be difficult to get this screw in place. The other three are quite simple and easy. This wiper arm is made by Armin, the other one is made by Magneti Marelli. You'll find they're almost identical in look and shape. This part, which holds the wiper blade in place, is also made by Armin and goes with the top one together. This piece is made by Corello and fits onto the Magneti Marelli arm. This other one is just an aftermarket one I found. These brand new arms say made in Italy. They're great, but the problem is they're meant for a left-hand drive car. As you can see, the shape at the end is pointing downwards, and this is for a right-hand drive. I made the mistake of buying that online. Now to connect the wipers to the motor and then test to make sure everything's working. I've rigged up this relay so I can plug it in and start the engine from the back of the car rather than using the key. Adding oil and doing a few final checks before we start.
Degrees, what we wanted at. So distributor speed curve.
We've reached temperature, so I'm just checking the fan and sure enough it's on. Everything was going really well, but we started to find a small problem. The coil started getting really hot. The voltages were fine, but we found that the spark started to decrease. We tried another coil. It didn't get hot, but didn't fix our problem with the spark. So we decided the best thing to do here would be to roll back to a points distributor and see if this fixes the problem. So the distributor was changed, but you can hear there's something not right. Just the plugs were fouled, so we replaced them with some new ones. So with the new plugs installed, it sounds a lot better. I'm installing everything in place now till I get the electronic ignition checked and sent back. Another problem we found is when you adjust the regulator, the gauge on the regulator didn't move at all. I've got this other one plugged into the same line, and as you can see it moves where the other one just doesn't move at all. But next time,